about the value of branding our plan. And these were some posters from early on in the process before we had established what we considered our brand. And just a couple of hints. I know that these are a bit more wordy, but we did use big, bold images and simple text. And so anything that you can do to attract your audience is really important. And there are a lot of great tools out there. You know, I'm sure most of you are familiar with things like Canva. If you do have Adobe, you can do Adobe Spark is a great tool for creating some of these. But as long as you, even if you don't have any graphics design experience, you can still be very intentional in how you create your graphics. So just make sure that they're grabbing people and attracting people. And that is particularly relative and important now, especially with all of our Facebook and social media feeds just being flooded with so much information. This time in particular is a good time to attract people with something good and meaningful. And I think people are very interested in planning because they have realized the implications that a good plan can have in the long run. And so just being as intentional as you can with those graphics, even if you haven't established a branding plan. So this was ultimately the direction that we went in. This was something that we came up with our consultant firm. And for us, this was really, really important because there were 3 or 4 other planning processes going on in the city. We had our comprehensive master plan going on. We had a public transportation master plan, a cultural arts master plan. And so everybody was just being inundated with all of these different plan survey requests, social media, all kinds of stuff going on. And so once we established this brand, everybody was like, oh yeah, Parks and Rec, I care about them the most because they are clearly the most fun. And so so every time anybody saw our little people hanging out on their screen, we were a lot more likely to get a lot more clicks on those posts. And so even if you don't have a great team to help you put this stuff together, again, there is a lot of really valuable material out there. There is free stuff, but even if you can fund just a little bit, you can purchase some of these, a really cool icon set and develop a color scheme out of that. And so we really recommend making sure that you have that consistency and that people are going to recognize, especially as this is an ongoing effort, what your planning process is. And this gets back to what Shauna was talking about earlier in bite-sized chunks. So we're collecting the same information that you would gather through a very long, statistically significant or similar survey process. We're just breaking it down into these bite-sized chunks, but people are going to recognize those chunks when you attach the branding to it. Another thing that was really important for us was to keep everything non-governmenty. And so we didn't want everything to look like it was coming straight out of a government building. So we really worked hard to maintain that really fun feel throughout the planning process. All right, I'm gonna turn it back over to Shauna.